Oh my God, we have some tea. First of all, Jill Valentine is officially in Nikke, and not only that, we have summons. Now, if you don't know, I am 2 multis from Pity, and I am not going to be able to go that crazy on the anniversary with my actual money because something came up with my family where I had to help out. So that's just that. So the plan is, realistically, we're trying to get Jill Valentine, right? Because we can get her now, right? She's in the game. We're gonna try to get her. We have about, I think, 5 or 6 multis. We're gonna hope to get her, and then if we get her, we're done. Pity is going to the anniversary character, so let's go ahead and get her. We'll do a showcase, all that stuff. If we don't get her, we'll just try it out in shooting range and stuff like that, and you guys will get more of a showcase from me when I guess like when we actually, you know, pull her or whatever, or when somebody else pulls her fight. I need to get her though, because I care more for a collab than I do the anniversary, and it's not because like it's just because the anniversary comes with so much multis, not to mention like it's a pilgrim that you can get any time of the week, where I mean technically anniversary is way more hype than a collab. I get that, but like I don't know, I don't trust Nikke with collabs. Limited characters are a different story. I know they will rerun. Collab characters, it's not the same, so I don't necessarily trust Nikke with them. We've done 2 multis so far and we've gotten absolutely nothing. I'm a bit worried because okay, I'm a bit worried because yeah, no, come on, we have 2 more multis and I don't want to use Pity on this character. I'm just gonna try getting free to play currency. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Free to play currency until this collab goes away, and then if it goes away, oh my God, okay, it's 50-50. If you get an SSR, you have a 50-50 chance of getting the character. If I get this character right here, I'm done with the collab. Abnormal. Yeah! I'm done. Anniversary character is mine. I guaranteed 3rd anniversary pilgrim, guaranteed 100%. Unfortunately, this will be the next pilgrim. I've pitied every single summonable pilgrim that's come out. Little Mermaid, Dorothy, Rafty, Scarlet Black Shadow, Cinderella, every single one of them. I've never pulled none of them. I had to pity all of them. The only one I've pulled was Cinderella and Red Hood. Those are the only 2, and Dorothy. Those are the first one. And Modernia. No, Modernia I pitied. So literally, those are the only 3 pilgrims I pulled. Let's go ahead and build up Jill, and let's showcase her. Jill Valentine has been acquired. I'm officially done with this collab, and let's just talk everything Jill right now. Now, when it actually comes to I guess you could say her actual gear, I'm working on it in terms of getting the full set, and I have the materials to level it up, but I did not build it. I did not build the abnormal set yet, right? Which is weird because I do have it. We are 555, right? I'm gonna break down what her kit does, because obviously when I read her kit the first time, I made a little bit of a mistake in terms of how she worked with a certain character, not necessarily how her kit works. But I'm gonna break it down for you guys the correctly right now, right? So if you take a look at her skill 1, once you enter the battle, once reloading to max ammo capacity, she will give herself a normal attack damage multiplier of 22% at level 5 for 9 rounds, right? So base starts basically at the very beginning of the battle, and then anytime you reload, basically, right? So essentially, because 9 rounds is the entirety of ARs, right? Yeah, she's always going to basically have this 22% normal attack multiplier after she reloads, essentially. That's just what that is, right? When you use her burst skill, she will give herself a true damage buff of 26.99%, again at level 5. And if we take a look at her skill 2, once you know, enter the battle or after you reload to max ammo capacity, she will deal 148% of final attack and sustained damage every 1 second for 30 seconds. To who though? I guess the target, whoever the target is, right? So there is that, right? And then it says activates when you enter a full burst. She'll give herself an attack buff of 30%. Now, when you use her burst skill, not only does she give herself an attack damage buff of 56%, a hit rate buff of 62%, and her normal attacks deal true damage, but she fixes her reloading speed at 74% increase for 10 seconds. So her reload speed is going to be increased big time, right? But when user burst skill removes all her bullets. So let's say she has like 5 bullets left and use her burst skill, it's just gonna remove it all, and then she's just gonna have increased reload speed, and then she's gonna have force reload, which literally again it just removes all your bullets and forces you to reload right where you are. Essentially, that's what that is. So we're gonna go ahead and try her out with some teams. And hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe and like. Let's go. Now this is the first team I'm going in with just because I'm so curious to see how well Jill is. Now if we're taking a look at her versus my Ein is core 2, fully overload gear with elemental damage and stuff like that, and then 10 10 10 and cube, compared to obviously no overload gear, 5 5 5 and the dash in cube. Right, so we're really gonna see what the difference is between I guess you could say a fully invested Ein to a non-invested Jill, and then we'll go in scope block to get a comparison of how good she's going to be if everything was fared out. Right, that's just what it's going to be. So I'm really excited. Right, I don't want to waste materials for these characters because again, like you guys know, anniversary is coming up, but at the same time we got to be ready. Right, so let's go to her and see what it's looking like. Right, so she's just doing damage. Right, remember her normal attacks are increased, and as you guys seen, there's a sustained damage proc. Her and Ein are basically the same character in the sense of how they both work. They're both true damage DPSs, and regardless if you're using their burst or not, they do benefit big time by giving themselves crazy buffs and stuff like that. Right, this character is dealing 800k per take on critical. Oh my god, wait, 27 million without using her burst skill. Now the thing is, she is going to get Ada Wong's buff here, right, where Ada Wong gives true damage. Right, Ada Wong gives true damage to whoever uses their burst skill and stuff like that, and an attack buff. The thing is, all Jill's normal attacks are going to be seen as true damage, not to mention what Ada gives herself. So I'm really curious what we're going to be at here. Okay, so I don't really like that burst skill, but sure. We are currently at 35 million instant reload. To what though? 35 million to what though? Right, instant reload. 35 million to 111 million. No overload gear, 555, and also like no gear realistically besides I guess level 5 base gear, because manufacturing gear doesn't buff this character. Yeah, I think let's keep going. Obviously if I'm comparing it to my Ein, it's night and day, but I'm pretty sure like Jill is just what I thought she would be, just kind of like another version of Ein. Right, like I told you guys, between Ada Wong and Jill, I already knew both of them were going to be good. Like I'm not going to sit here and say Jill is bad, right? 52 million. Like I think Jill is a great character, but I already knew going into this that she wasn't going to be like the #1 character or anything like that. Right, I just thought she was going to be another good electric DPS, and that's what she seems to be. Right, if you need another good electric DPS, Jill seems to be that character that can be that. Like she's just doing free damage. Like that's just free damage she's doing to the enemy with the sustained damage and all that stuff. Right, and you guys take a look. Jill is doing numbers, right? But obviously compared to Miss Elemental Damage over there, my Ein is very built, right? So compared to her, it's quite crazy. But I do want to compare Jill to Cinderella. Like if it was a fair build. I do want to compare Jill to Ein if it was a fair build, especially Ein, because like I said, Jill and Ein are the most similar character, right? They both kind of rely on their normal attacks, where technically Ein relies on her near feather, those things that are flying around the enemies right now, where this character here relies on her regular normal attacks, right? But both of them have the same mechanic in the sense of like they're giving themselves buffs for either using their burst skill or entering a full burst, right? And they both deal true damage. Obviously, I think Ein is better than Jill. I don't think Ein is one of the best like DPSs in the game. I don't think people realize that. I think when she came out, we had no true damage buffers for people to really see that, but she really is that good of a character, right? Is she the best character? No. Is she a top 10 DPS? Probably not. I mean, she could maybe talk about it. I don't think she's the top 10 DPS. Because I don't think she's the top 10 DPS, but she is definitely very, very powerful, right? But if we're talking about just base characters, who's better, Ein or Jill, we have to do scope block to figure that out, because it's just completely different. 555 to a 10-10-10 core 2 character. It's night and day with both of these characters. It really is. So I want to see what that's looking like. And obviously you guys already know me. I'm going to have a lot of showcases with a lot of different team comps and different unique combos you guys can use with Jill Valentine if you really want to use her. She is going to be good though, right? Damage wise, like if you're using Ein before, which realistically, I don't know if people were using Ein before, but if you were using Ein before, Jill is basically like another Ein, right? But 572 million with her current gear, like her gear is 2022 build, right? Her current build is a 2022 build and she's performing like that, right? I think realistically this Jill character is going to be very, very good. Let's go on scope lock where none of that matters, right? There's no elemental damage, no nothing. We're going to go in here again, no elemental damage, no overload gear, just 10 10 10 core 7 raw base character, right? Because I feel like that's how you see it. Yeah, I can't compare a character who's fully built to a character who's not even built and then say, well, this character is worse than the character who's fully built. It just doesn't make sense, right? I feel like scope block, the only reason why scope block is useful to an extent is because it would tell you who's the better overall character at base, right? Like if we take a look at Miss Jill Valentine, I used her burst skill here, 80 million, Jill is at 25 million. I will know Jill is better than Ein if after Jill uses her burst skill right now, she surpasses Ein, right? So we're taking a look. 31 million. She needs to be higher than Ein's final damage after this burst rotation for her to be better than Ein, and DPS wise, right? That's what needs to like essentially happen. But we're gonna see. I don't know. She looks like she's popping off. Yeah. Because now both Ein and Jill have both used their burst skill. Ein doesn't have any stacking capabilities at all, right? She has none at all. And Ein and Jill Valentine also doesn't have any stacking capabilities at all, right? So if we're going off of like 10 10 10, both of them are fully like kind of on par basically, because that's what scope block does, makes every character on par. You guys will notice Jill Valentine is going to be better than Ein, right? Which is good, right? That's really good because Ein is one of the strongest electric DPSs in the game, right? That's one thing you guys got to remember. She is one of the strongest electric DPSs in the game. So if Jill, I keep saying Jill Valentine. If Jill is hitting harder than Ein, that means Jill is now one of the strongest electric DPSs in the game, right? Because after who you have Cinderella, and then if you're putting like Scarlet with Trina, you have Scarlet, Cinderella. After that, who do you have? You have probably Ein, right? You have Ein, but now I guess you have Jill. Will Jill now be the third strongest electric DPS in the game? I don't know, right? I feel like I'm missing an electric character. I'm gonna pull up Redwin. I feel like I'm missing an electric character, and I don't like that. I'm gonna pull up Redwin. I don't know if I'm missing an electric DPS. Characters, electric DPS, verse 3. Yeah, it's Cinderella. Then I would have Cinderella, then Scarlet, then I would have Jill, and then Ein. If this is the case, cause look, she's dunking on her, bro. She's dunking on her. She's just dunking on her. So yeah, I would have a Jill over Ein. So that makes Jill the third strongest DPS for electric, right? Because nobody else is better. I wouldn't have made the Winter Maid over her. I wouldn't have Summer Anise over her. Maybe. No, I don't think so. I feel like Summer Anise is a kid's 2023 kid. Compared to now, it's just not. It's not gonna be strong. Like, Summer Anise is not even stronger than Ein. So how could she be stronger than Jill if Jill is hitting harder than Ein, right? And I want to see is okay because Jill is very close. It's not like Jill is mopping Ein, right? She's still very close to Ein, right? So I don't feel like she's gonna be like that close to like Cinderella or anything like that, because Cinderella dunks on every character in the game, right? I don't think this Jill character is gonna be anything close to that. But hey, I'm happy that she's at least good, right? Because she's good. It's a fact. She is really good. Not to mention, obviously, I think this collab was phenomenal. Obviously, 2 electric DPS characters, and then you have a crazy support from Miss Ada Wong. Like, Ada is a really good support. The general flexible flex versus 3 support, Ada Wong is really, really good, right? And if you want to make use of, if you do like Resident Evil, these are characters you can slap on your main team. Yeah, you can easily have Rouge on your team, Cinderella on your team, Jill Valentine on your team, and Ada Wong as a flex burst 3. Ada Wong is supporting anybody who uses their burst 3. Anybody on the team that uses their burst 3, Ada Wong is supporting them. She's going to be a very big help for that. But yeah, you guys see here, like Jill beat Ein here as clear as day, right? I do want to switch up the team, take Ada Wong off. Like, let's put in Summer Anise, right? Let's slap Cinderella in there, right? Let's slap Cinderella in there. I know it's not fair, but we're gonna put Rouge in there because Rouge is, it's so hard because Rouge is Cinderella's best friend. And I feel like Rouge just gives her a best buff, but I'm not gonna handicap freaking like Cinderella for Jill Valentine. I don't think that's fair. but at the same time, is it fair to give Cinderella her best support? Let's just go neutral, right? So we'll put her, and then for burst 2, again, we could put, I guess, Crown. We don't necessarily need her, but we could put her on there, right? This is solely just to see how well Jill is against whatever. Now, my next thing that I want to point out is Jill is not going to be that good against mobs. I don't think she's going to be good against mobs at all. She relies on nothing but her normal attack. She's going to be horrendous against mobs. So that's the one thing about, I guess, Jill Valentine that Ayn has over her. Ayn at least can deal with mobs. Jill can't. So I think I probably still have Ayn over Jill as an overall character, just because, yeah, Ayn is weaker than Jill, but not by that much. And then obviously Ayn is just more universally like good, right? Now, if Jill somehow gets higher than Cinderella, because she was at 30-something million, if Jill somehow gets higher than Cinderella right here, I'm going to laugh. We're at 39 million. If after this burst skill, her final number is higher than Cinderella's with this neutral team where everybody's getting the same amount of supports, that's going to be something. Ooh. Okay. I want the full match to go, because what am I seeing? Jill? What am I seeing? You don't even have your best support on the team, right? But to be fair, this is where electric, like, you really start to realize how cracked the electric comp is. Summer Anise and Ada Wong, they're so good for electric characters, but like Ada Wong is good for any burst 3 DPS, right? Summer Anise is very good for electric DPSs because anytime you enter a full burst, she's giving them a 55% attack buff of her attack. That's big. Even though she is a supporter, it is big. And it's a reload speed as well. So when we're using Ada, or not Ada, when we're using Jill and her burst skill, and we have all those buffs from Miss Summer Anise, you're gonna know that not only that, Crown also gives insane reload speed. You guys are going to notice right now when Jill uses her burst skill, her reload is look at her reload. Look at her reload. It is crazy. Look at the reload. Bop. I didn't even finish my word before it reloaded. Bro, okay, good, Cinderella. Like, I want to make sure we understand Cinderella is still the best in the game. I don't care who comes out. I don't feel like the anniversary character should get surpassed until the next anniversary character comes out, right? And the only people I have over Cinderella are anniversary and like New Year characters, right? Rat Peak, Brown, and Little Mermaid. They're the only people I have over her, right? After that, and Helm to an extent. I have favorite item Helm over her. I think favorite item Helm is way too good of a character to kind of be put down. That's just me personally. Maybe you guys have Cinderella over Helm. I have Helm. I think Helm is way more useful than Cinderella overall for obvious reasons. She's a support. But if I go off that logic, any useful support should be higher than Cinderella, right? Like, you guys kind of get what I'm saying, but you don't. I know, I already know how you guys are. So that's why I'm literally saying it for you guys. You know what I'm saying, but you don't. Like, I'm just saying it for you guys because I have to deal with this all the time. But I'm really surprised. I really am surprised with her damage output, right? Like, obviously, now we're in a situation where you guys are going to see Cinderella's gapping her, like, literally double. When Cinderella doubles your damage, it goes to show, like, how strong some of these characters are. Because the only other electric DPS in the game that can compete with Cinderella's damage to an extent is Scarlet when she's with Trina. That's it. Nobody else can do that. And that's if Scarlet's fighting mobs. Cinderella's in a class of her own. She basically doubled her, like kind of doubled, almost doubled her damage, right? But 590 million is still very good. It's still very good compared to, like, if we're looking at just regular electric burst 3 DPSs, right? If we go electric burst 3 DPSs, compared to all these characters, nobody's comparing. Like, nobody's competing. Nobody, right? I do want to try something. And it is a bit, I want to see something. I want to put Scarlet and Trina on the same team, right? I want to do that. I want to have you on the team. I want to have Summer Anise because Summer Anise is really good for her. But then when it comes to that burst 1, who do I put there? Maybe I might put Little Mermaid or Exia. I have her favorite item, but if I'm on scope block, it doesn't work. So let's go ahead and just put Little Mermaid on that team. So Little Mermaid, Trina. I'm competing Scarlet with Trina versus Jill Valentine. Scope lock. I think that's fine. we could go mobs, but that's just giving Scarlet the biggest advantage of her lifetime. So I'm not going to, because Ada Wong is horrible against mobs, where Scarlet is the queen against mobs. You know what I'm saying? I'm just very curious here. Trina doesn't really help out much for Jill. She does a little bit, if I remember correctly. I'm just gonna double check, right? I remember she does help out just a little bit, right? I think it's like, oh, hold on. Activates when using burst skill, affects one electrical ally with rifles. Wait!
So, how does it feel to be saved by a super cop?
Ada Wong is the second ever electric character in this game that has an AR. That's a burst 3. The only other character who had that before was Scarlet. We're switching. Trina and Ada Wong. Or I keep saying Ada. Jill. I'm sorry, Jill Valentine. I keep getting them mixed up. Trina is going to be very good for Jill Valentine. This is what Trina gives to one electrical ally with an assault rifle on the leftmost side of the squad anytime she uses her burst skill. Oh. Now we're talking. Because now I want to compare Cinderella with her best support, which is Rouge.
Be the best hand in your deck.
Where I guess what we would consider Trina. If I was to go best support, it would technically be this. But I feel like if I was to put Ada Wong on this team, it's not fair because this is a true damage character and this is not. Where if I put Miss what's her name? If I put Summer Anise, it's more fair. So I'm gonna put Summer Anise. The question is, where is she? I'm gonna skip. This is, oh my god. Oh my god. Is Trina, yeah, I completely forgot. Trina isn't meant for Scarlet. She's meant for electric characters with AR, but at the time, Scarlet was the only one that had that. But now, we have Trina and Jill Valentine, who is currently at 3 million. Look at all those buffs! 20 buffs. 20 buffs. Is she going crazy though? No, don't look like it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't look like it. Respectfully, it don't look like it. You see all these buffs, but it don't look like. But the thing is, anytime Trina uses her burst skill, Jill is getting these buffs, right? So we'll see the final number, but we just finished a burst skill. Jill is way too close to Cinderella. Cinderella. She's way too close to Cinderella. So, do you want to tell me any DPS that's an AR and electric with Trina is just on par with Cinderella or close to Cinderella's damage? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now? Wait, let me end this burst skill. But Cinderella just used her burst skill. So are you trying to tell me that any character in the game that's an AR and electric with Trina is that close to Cindy? No. No. Stop. There's no way. I cannot wait to give this character overload gear, or I will hop on Rebuke's account and give her overload gear because he probably has that ready, where I'm probably not going to give anybody overload gear just because the anniversary is too close and I want to focus on that more than these characters. But I think Trina with Jill might be on par to Cinderella with Rouge. Mike, this is scope lock, where Nobody has type advantage. Nobody has or no, they all have type advantage. Nobody has overload gear. Nobody has elemental damage increase unless it's from their kits. Like, this is just base character equally built. And my whole thing is, if I was to have them equally built with overload gear and all that extra stuff, would she be on par with Cinderella? Obviously, like, if I was to have Ada Wong on the team instead of Summer and Ace, I think then Jill would hit harder than Cinderella as well, because that's a true damage buff that, you know, Jill benefits from, where Cinderella doesn't. But this right here with Summer and Ace is a fair, this is a full fair team. Trina does actually technically buff up Cinderella to an extent as well when she uses her burst skill, right? But Rouge is Cinderella's main support, where Trina is Jill's main support. I want to see what the final number is here. I don't know who used their burst skill last. I think it was Jill. If it was, I don't know what to say. If Jill is remarkably close to Cinderella here after all that, I'm going to be concerned. Or I'm going to be shocked. Okay. I think Jill got the last burst skill off there, but she's still fairly close to Cinderella. Cinderella's a pilgrim. Like, she's 160 million more damage than Jill, which isn't fairly close. Like, let me take that back. It's not fairly close, but that's still crazy. That's very crazy. Because imagine if both of these two had overload gear. What are we talking about? Oh my God. Well, either way, let me know what you guys think about Jill Valentine. I'm glad I did clock that part in with Trina. What do you guys think? I think Jill is going to be a force to reckon with, because my whole thing is, if Scarlet is the second strongest DPS right now because of Trina, how good is Jill going to be with overload gear and Trina? That's what I really want to know. How good is she going to be with that? Right? But for now, make sure you guys subscribe and like. It's your boy Zxous. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. There will be an overload showcase for this gear. Like, that's happening. That's 100. I need to find out, because Jill is looking to be a monstrous DPS, especially when it comes to it. If she's somewhere even remotely close to Cinderella, that is screaming something in damage, because Cinderella has nothing besides her decoy and her damage, right? The only difference between obviously Miss Cinderella and Jill is that Cinderella's league's better. I'm not even gonna compare the two. Like, Cinderella's league's better than Jill. Let's keep it a buck. But Jill is horrible against mobs. That's the only thing I know for a fact. So I think overall, I probably have Cinderella. Our first impressions off of overall just common sense: Cinderella 1, Scarlet 2, Jill 3. And that's only because these characters, Cinderella and Scarlet, are better in multiple situations. They're good against mobs, solo bosses, PvP. Jill is only good against solo bosses. That's just what it seems like. Or at least single bosses. Single enemies, let's say. So, it's your boy Zxous. Let me know what you guys think. But I'm going to see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.